Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing alright. As predicted, let's be real, we're not surprised. I did on my preview say that I thought we would lose. I predicted 2-1. And to be honest, it could have been 2-1 if only Pulisic understood the offside rule and what happens if you go off the pitch. But even then, if he did understand that, we wouldn't have so-called scored that first goal in the end of the second half for it to possibly be 2-1 anyway. So there's that. But we all expected to be dominated. We weren't. I want to say we weren't actually thoroughly dominated. It wasn't a case of like the Arsenal game where we done absolutely nothing. But it still wasn't good enough. And there's still, I have to say, for today, there are a couple of positives to come out of this. But it's a game that's kind of reflective of the circumstances that the club and the team and everyone is in at the moment. We're not in a good moment at all. We're not in good form at all. This is, and we heard about it after the game ended, this is Chelsea's worst run of form in the last 4 years. We've not had it since Antonio Conte. Actually, 5 years. 5 years. We're in the 22-23 season, so 5 years. We've not had us go into this sort of form since 17-18 under Antonio Conte. If you remember that patch, I believe, was where we dropped points to Watford and Bournemouth, and you remember that time? We are now matching that for form. And it's no surprise. Today, I'm going to clarify the couple of positives, I would say. And one of them has to be Lewis Hall. Now, before I get into that, let me tell you exactly how Graham Potter set the team up. Well, I say set the team up. I've still got question marks here. But anyway, let's get into what the starting 11 was. Mendy in goal. We went with Cucurella, Koulibaly and Chalobah. In defence, we had Loftus-Cheek as right wing-back, Lewis Hall as left wing-back, Zakaria and Kovacic in the midfield, in the double pivot, fair enough, and we had Ziyech, Pulisic and Armando Broja up top. Now, Lewis Hall can leave this game with his head completely held high. I thought Lewis Hall today was immense. I thought he was incredible, but yeah, and I'm not gonna slaughter him for it. There were 2 chances he should have buried. There were 2 chances that anyone should have buried. Let's be real. But if there's one guy on the pitch that you could look at and go, I'll cut you slack, it's Lewis Hall. 18 years old. It's a big opportunity. It's an occasion for him. He's in the first team. He doesn't play in the first team normally. He gets 2 chances on a plate and he doesn't bury them, especially the one where he manages to get in and around the defender. I forgot who it was, if it was Ruben Diaz, but the defender got sent, and Lewis Hall had literally the entire right-hand side of the goal to place the ball in, and he decides to go left, and it's a good block by Ortega with his foot. That should be scored. But that was reflective of a problem that I'm going to come on to in terms of Chelsea during this game. But Lewis Hall provided us with energy. Not just that. I don't just mean just run. When I say energy, I don't mean just, I want to see you running non-stop. This isn't athletics. I'm not looking for a cross-country runner here. I'm looking for someone who is going to be quick everywhere. Wherever you need him, boom, he's there. Whether he's defending, boom, he's in their faces. Whether he's attacking, boom, he's cutting through. He's moving. He's getting into spaces. He's making himself available for his teammates. He's taking the ball on. He's taking the risks. He's moving with the ball into space. He's combining well. He's doing all of that. Lewis Hall was moving brilliantly. For a guy that's not in the first team squad, I'm shocked. He should be in the first team squad. If it's down to me, he probably starts against Newcastle. And you know what's crazy and why I'm giving him so much praise? Because that wasn't even his position. He's a box-to-box midfielder, guys. He plays as an 8, but he's versatile. And because he's versatile, he's not just versatile as in, I can fill in there if I'm needed. He can actually play left wing. He can actually play left back. He can actually play left wing back. He can play those roles. If you want him to for a whole season, he'll do it. That's the beautiful thing about Lewis Hall, despite him being a midfielder. a box-to-box, a number 8, where he thrives best. And with the technical quality that he has and what he possesses in terms of managing to get in between players, he's got good strength. Even though he's a small lad, he can see he's a stocky guy, and he gets himself into those challenges, and he protects the ball really well. He's fast, he's got good intelligence, his decision-making is actually quite quick. I'm thoroughly impressed with Lewis Hall. Even though that's not his right position, I thought he was class. I would call him up. I actually would. 18 years old, I don't care. He's good enough. He's good enough. So there's that. That was one of the positives. The other positive I would say was that in that first half with Lewis Hall, right, we had a lot going down the left-hand side. It seemed like we were pretty easy in terms of going down the left-hand side, combining and trying to get chance. Cucurella in that first half was actually awake, it seemed, so fair play. But with Lewis Hall, it looked like there was something good going on there. Pulisic, in terms of actually getting into position or launching an attack, was doing quite decently. But now this is where we shift over to the negatives, because apart from that, one positive that I have to say, Edouard Mendy, in terms of his saves, fantastic. Yeah, his saves, class. Edouard Mendy on the ball is a catastrophe, guys. His saves were remarkable. I think Man City could have probably scored about 6 or 7, right? You could probably say the same for Chelsea. I'm coming to that. Don't get it twisted. But because of the shot saved by Edouard Mendy, he did keep us in the game. Well, kept us in the game for as long as we possibly could before we let in 2 anyway. But Edouard Mendy, shot stopping, his saves, class. On the ball, though, he gets the ball. My God, he takes about 4 days to make a decision and then decides to hit it out either to Loftus-Cheek's head where it's overhit and it goes out for a throw, or it's too much for Loftus-Cheek to reach, or he takes too much time and he makes a pass and he gives it to Man City, or he gets dispossessed himself. He does it every game. I don't understand why Edouard Mendy seems to want to do that every single game, mate. I don't know. Anyway, Pulisic, and not just Pulisic here, we're talking about probably the entire front line. They get into a position to score, and it's the same story. It's the same story. I am tired, guys. I'm tired. I was watching and I could see chances coming, and honestly, at times I was just like, we're not going to score. I'm starting to lose confidence in us actually when we have chances. Like, there are times where we don't even have chances. The Arsenal game, for example, like we just didn't have any chances. But when we do have chances, I'm actually starting to lose faith that we are actually even going to work the keeper. You know, when there's an opportunity now, I'm not on the edge of my seat. I don't go, oh. Now I'm just like, oh, wait. Like, is he actually gonna hit the ball correctly, or is he actually gonna get it to the keeper? Forget it hitting the net. Forget it even being on target. Like, is it gonna be somewhat at least to an angle where the keeper is? You know, I've kind of lost faith. Lewis Hall, all due respect to him, and I understand he had a great game today and he's young, so I'll cut him slack on this one, despite him missing 2 chances. That if it was anyone else, I'd be grilling them. I'll be real with you guys. If it was anyone else missing those chances, I'd be like, what? And we did have players miss those sort of chances. So Lewis Hall will put to the side because he actually put in a really good performance. Pulisic. Poor finishing. Poor. Ziyech was denied probably 2 assists there in terms of Pulisic missing what he should have finished. And I know the one where it went out for a deflection, it was a deflection and then it hit, the keeper managed to save it. I'm going to say that the shot was scuffed. He didn't even connect with the ball correctly. That's what baffles me. Like, it's basic stuff. Anyway, there's that. Ziyech, on the chances that he had to actually cause a threat to the goalkeeper, and there were a couple of moments where he actually done really well in terms of skill, providing the pass for whoever was going to take the shot. That was cool. But his shots, same story. It's just not working anything. You know, once the ball came out onto the edge of the box, I think, and he tried to hit it with his left foot. He tried to smash it, and it went up straight into row Z. And I'm thinking, oh my God. You know, it's frustrating. I can't put my finger on it. Armando Broja, same situation. Didn't really miss any sitters, but overall, except for his speed and him getting into position with the ball, once he has the ball and he's facing a defender one-on-one, it just feels like he's not getting past. He's going to get dispossessed. It's like he has a moment of panic on the ball, and it's like, Don't know what to do. And then he takes too long, gets dispossessed, or he hits it out, it goes out for a throw or whatever. It's just overall, it's just frustrating. It's just so frustrating. Times during that first half, and we're going to shift into the second half as well, but I realised we weren't going for the press. We were trying to be a bit more compact. But even when we do that, even when we're defending, or sometimes even when we have the ball, I'm seeing everyone just way too slow. It's just too slow. I'm seeing players moving like we're winning 6-0, and we're not. And then the moment we go down 1-0, and it's Mahrez who scores. I mean, I was quite conflicted with that goal because I like when Mahrez scores. You know, being half Algerian, I feel like, you know, Mahrez, when he scores, I'm happy. But he scores a free kick like that, and I'm like, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. You know? The challenge that led up to that free kick, and you could see some of the other challenges as well, where players like Grealish were able to take the ball and just run. And no one's putting their body on the line. It was up until the final line with Koulibaly and Chalobah where they just had to throw their bodies, you know, they had to go in for the challenge. Even if it's reckless, bring the player down. Because no one ahead of them is actually doing enough to stop the players with the ball. Everyone's just so slow. Everyone's not reacting quick enough. Everyone's just so lethargic, just moving like they're carrying weight. It's just, it doesn't need to be like that. I don't understand why it is like that. There's times where I see us either when we're defending or when we're trying to move the ball, and I'm just seeing everyone static. No one's moving. Like, guys, move. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But Mahrez gets the goal. It's 1-0, and then at that point, we're chasing the game. Our defence is left completely exposed. It's left completely open. We're not closing down. We're not looking to even get into correct position to try and prevent a threat. We're allowing way too much space. Alvarez for the second goal is an example of that, where Man City are able to just advance very easily, cross-field ball straight out to Mahrez. Mahrez, you know exactly what he's going to do. We're not trying to keep him on his right foot. We're allowing him to get onto his left foot, even though a blind man can see that coming. And it's just, those little things are just so frustrating because we can see him, you know. Surely they can see it. Surely they can notice. Surely. You know, that's what's frustrating. Ball comes across the box. No one's picking Alvarez up. He's asleep. Everyone's asleep. Everyone's, again, slow, heavy, moving, lethargic, taking about a week to make a step. I don't get it. I don't get why that's the case. I don't understand it. And then we decide to make some substitutions. Alvarez scores in the 58th minute. It takes us 10 more minutes to make a substitution. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola, in the 50th minute, 5 minutes after half-time, boom, 2 players on. Bernardo Silva, Calvin Phillips, especially Bernardo Silva. He comes on, you know that's a threat. We don't do anything up until minute 68. And then we bring on 4 guys, shift everything up. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, what are the 4 subs going to be? We take off Ziyech, we bring on Sterling. We take off Zakaria, we bring on Gallagher. We take off Armando Broja, we bring on Mount. And we take off Chalobah, we bring on Azpilicueta. Right? Later on, we take off Lewis Hall to bring on Kai Havertz. That confused me a bit because Lewis Hall, your best player on the pitch, why you take him off? Why take him off? I don't get that one. To bring on Kai Havertz, who didn't cause any threat whatsoever. But what I don't understand with those substitutions is why we ended up with Gallagher in a double pivot with Kovacic. We ended up with Raheem Sterling as a centre forward. Aubameyang still on the bench. I mean, look, if we're trying to attack, if we're trying to actually, we're 2-0 down, let's try and salvage something here. I'd rather you bring on another striker to go and assist Armando Broja. Bring on Aubameyang and stick him up top with Broja. You know, you want to bring on a Mason Mount, cool. You want to bring on a Gallagher, cool. But don't put Gallagher in a double pivot where we already know that doesn't work. You know, and to be fair to Gallagher, some of the passes he was actually making, fair play. But you just know he's not confident and comfortable in that role. Will he do it if he's asked to? Yes, but that's not his position. When we're left with Kovacic as a DM, if you're thinking about it, I would have left Zakaria on the pitch. Because in that first half, at least you could see Zakaria was probably the most dynamic one when trying to defend and assist the central defenders. Apart from that, I don't see he was sharp. Apart from that, there was nothing else really. And what confuses me, Hutchinson. We told him to not go on international duty with Jamaica. so then he can stay here for this game. And then we don't play him. This is the perfect game for him to play. Lewis Hall has just proven what talent we actually have coming from the youngsters. Hutchinson is there on the bench ready to be used. I would have started him. He's not used at all. And instead, we bring on Gallagher to play him in a double pivot, Mount and Sterling to go up top and become a centre forward, and Kai Havertz to come on for Lewis Hall, who was the best player on the pitch. And then I'm looking at this going, I don't know what we're trying to do. In that second half, I'm looking at the way that we're playing, the system. I don't get the system. I don't understand it. I don't understand. It looks so lopsided. And to be fair to some of the lads, you could see the way that they were moving the ball, but it was almost like they were just told, look, lads, go and do what you want. I got that vibe. I got the vibe of, lads, I'm going to put all of you on. Go and do what you can do, lads. Sort it out for yourselves. Try and find a solution out there. Because you could see that everyone was moving. Well, I say moving, but you could see Gallagher, for example, Mason Mount, Raheem Sterling, Pulisic, who ended up switching over to become a wing-back. Again, that's another one. Shouldn't be there. Everyone at that point was just, okay, just combine and try and move. And you could see players going way out of position, then coming back into where the position that they were in. And everything just felt so lopsided. It did seem to cause some bit of confusion for Man City defensively, especially after Ake came on, because it looked like they went to sleep a little bit. But I don't get it. I don't understand what football we were trying to play. I don't understand it. And then the icing on the cake, as I've already said, when we actually do score, it comes from a goal where Pulisic ran off the pitch, knew that if he'd come back on, he'd be offside, and he still went and took the ball and tried to score, even though he was offside. Unless if he didn't know that, then that's kind of bad, because everyone should know that rule. If you come off the pitch and you come back on and you're involved in the action and the defenders are high up, you're offside, mate. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. I am confused, honestly, I'm confused. I expected this result. There were portions during that game where, yes, could we have scored? Should we have scored? Absolutely. But I'm tired of saying we can't shoot, we can't attack, or we can't take our chances. I've said this for seasons now, except for the year that we won the Champions League. It's tiring. Overall, though, as I've said, Lewis Hall, beautiful, needs to be involved in the first team squad. Some of the lads, even the ones that came on afterwards, I mean, fair play to some of them at least. But overall, it was expected, it was slow, it was lethargic, and it's not good form. As I've already said, it's the worst form since Antonio Conte 17-18. And now we've got to go to Newcastle. The consolation is that Arsenal have been knocked out. Tottenham have been knocked out. I'm not sure about Liverpool. Let me actually look at this in real time. Have Liverpool been knocked out? No, they won on penalties. Bloody jammy guys. So they're through. Apart from that, look, everyone else got knocked out. So that's the only consolation we can really take. It's not a big confidence filler going into Newcastle. And right now, look, we need to try and find what the hell we're actually trying to do. What are we actually trying to play? How are we trying to play? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Despite the rotation and some of the lads, including the Lewis Hall coming into the team, I understand it. It's an EFL Cup game. There's rotation, cool. But I don't see a system. I don't see what we're trying to do. As I explained yesterday, even if we're trying to be defensive or we're trying to be counter-attacking, at least you know. You can tell. With this, I'm confused. I see long balls. I see cross-diagonal balls. I see passing sideways sometimes, going back, trying to find one pass back to send over the top and catch a winger on it. That's it. I can't see anything else. There's opportunities where I see players running with the ball down the middle and they have chances to pass into an avenue on a side and they don't do it. They try to go alone. Overall, it just feels lopsided and I don't quite know how to analyse what are Chelsea trying to do. I don't understand it. So that's my confusion. That's my question. And we need to fix that point first before we even think of doing anything else. Ultimately, the one point that Graham Potter needs to address immediately is to wake everyone up. Wake everyone up. As I'm saying, like, the intensity isn't there. The intensity is dead. It's dead. You see individual energy sometimes. Like I said, from Lewis Hall, that's a prime example. Tons there. Was intense. Fantastic. But other players... takes about two extra seconds for them to actually do what they should have done 2 seconds earlier. One extra touch on the ball, that's unnecessary. Two extra touches, 3 extra touches, you know. poor pass, not tracking back in time, loses the ball, jogs. Those things you can't be doing, man. You can't. That needs to be snapped out of the players' minds. It has to. And at the moment, my concern is I'm not seeing Graham Potter on the touchline lose his head. You know, I don't mean lose his head, literally. I mean lose his head with some of them to tell them, wake up. I see Pep doing it all the time. Graham Potter needs to get a grasp of this team if he wants to survive in this role long term. He has to. If not, he's going to get eaten alive. He's going to get eaten alive. If some of the lads are going to think that performances or losing in this manner, or at least, as I've said, today was kind of better than the Arsenal game. But again, that shouldn't be where the standard is. That shouldn't be good enough for some of the players for them to take it and go, oh, you know what, we'll be all right with this gaffer. It's okay. He'll take it on the chin. No. It cannot be acceptable. And this is why I would have loved to see a Hutchinson come on, because I knew for a fact if Hutchinson come on, he would have done exactly how Lewis Hall did. He would have given everything. We didn't get to see him. Again, baffling decision. So overall, couple of positives, expected result. The rest not really positive, quite negative, and we'll see what happens on Saturday against Newcastle at St James's Park. It's not going to be a pretty one, I predict. But I'll give you my thoughts on Friday. Prior to that, I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new video. I might have a surprise for you guys tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for the video that is coming out tomorrow. You might like this one. Keep your eyes peeled. I will let you know tomorrow if it is going to be posted or not. And I'll see all of you then. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. I'll see you tomorrow. In a bit, people. Take care and peace.